Hello there, lovely squirrel class. And things are a bit different this week because we have a video for you and a video for the otters. And I think you could probably guess why with my little friend here who is busy eating some acorns, I think, because your work today is going to be based on squirrels. And of course, the otters are going to be based, their work is going to be based on otters. Now, I'm going to start by apologising because this lesson was due to happen yesterday, but due to some technical issues with the videos, we had to swap them over. So my apologies if that messed up your home learning week in any way. We just had a bit of difficulty sorting out the videos. So we are going to learn about squirrels together, and you're going to do some of your own research, and you're going to create a fact file that we are going to set as a bit of a competition. We have done 6 long weeks of work. You have done tremendously well. And now that we're on the final day of our home learning experience, we wanted to try and keep you motivated and do something that you would enjoy to do. I know that you enjoy all of your home learning, but to do something a bit more fun, a bit more creative, and give you a bit of a bonus of a competition to keep you going for the rest of the day. Now, we've set the deadline for Tuesday, and we know it's half term. And that doesn't mean we want you to work in half term. We also just don't want you to think that you have to get it all fitted into one day and rush it. So you have got a little bit of extra time, and we won't be marking them and giving feedback until the Monday that we return. So it gives us plenty of time to look through them and choose a winner as well. Now, you may already know some things about squirrels. I don't really know very much about squirrels, but it is the name of your class. And so I think it's probably a good idea to learn a little bit about them. And the same with the otter class. They don't really know very much about otters. So it is quite important, and it's the name of your class for a whole year. So that's why we thought we would set it as a bit of a challenge. The skills that you learnt last week, writing a fact file on Mary Anning, you did really, really well with, and you learnt about how to set it out and what it should include and what it should look like. So I'm not going to go over those features that you did last week with Mrs. Davis. I'm going to give you some information and show you how to access some of the resources to do your own fact file today. So to begin with, I'm just going to share the screen with you, and I have found some information on squirrels to go over with you. And this PowerPoint is also saved in the OneDrive folder, so that if you want to go back and have a look at any of the information, it is there for you. My computer is being very slow at the moment, so bear with us. So squirrels, what do you already know about squirrels? So I don't think I know that much. So what I want you to do before I go through some of the information, I want you to get a plain piece of paper, a scrap piece of paper. Pause me for a minute, and I want you to write down a couple of things that you already know about squirrels, no more than 5 though. Just jot them down and see if we go over those things as we go through the PowerPoint, and you can tick them off to see how knowledgeable you are about squirrels in advance. So just pause me for a minute, jot down no more than 5 things that you already know about squirrels, or that you think you know about squirrels. And then come back to me and we will start going through the information. I don't know about you guys, but I really struggled with that because I don't know enough about squirrels at all. I see them all the time and I really don't know much about them. So let's find out some more together. Remember, like I said, this is saved for you in the OneDrive folder to go back over if I go too quickly. So let's have a little look. What are squirrels? Well, we know what squirrels are. They're a type of animal. It says here squirrels are rodents, so that's the category that we put squirrels under. And rodents are animals that tend to scavenge for things and cause a bit of mischief. So they might dig in your garden or chew bits of wood and make a bit of a menace of themselves. And rats fit under that category of rodents as well. Rats can cause a little bit of mischief, can't they? We don't really want rats around. But because squirrels are quite cute and they've got their lovely tail and they look sweet, it's quite hard to see them in that light, isn't it? So let's find out some more. So they are rodents. They are part, and this is a hard word, of the Squirrelidae family. It's unusual, isn't it? Maybe you could find out some more about that. In that family are also chipmunks, marmots, flying squirrels, and prairie dogs are all part of that family. Very strange to have a dog and a squirrel in the same family, same group. I don't know if you know about flying squirrels, but they have like a piece of skin, a flap that goes in between their arms, and then they jump from tree to tree, and it makes it look like they're flying. They're not actually flying, they're gliding through the air. But because they can go quite long distances, it makes it look like they're flying. That's a good one. There are more than 200 different types of squirrel, and they live in many countries around the world. Now, in England, the most common squirrel we'll find, just like my friend next to me here, is the grey squirrel. But there are other squirrels that you might want to learn about. There is the red squirrel, which is more of an endangered squirrel now because we don't see as many of them. They're quite rare. But as you find out some information, you may want to look at different types of squirrels. For your fact file, though, your class name, Squirrel, is based on the squirrel that we would find most commonly in England, which would be the grey squirrel. That might just help you to narrow down your research when you're looking up about squirrels. So where do squirrels live? Now, we call where they live their habitat, okay? They can be found all over the world. However, you will not find squirrels in Antarctica. Why do you think you wouldn't find them in Antarctica? You guessed it, the same reason you wouldn't find me in Antarctica. It's too cold, and I don't think I would survive there, and they obviously don't like it to be too cold either. And they're also not native to Australia either. Now, Australia, we know, is kind of the opposite to Antarctica. It has a very, very hot climate in Australia. And so maybe the squirrels find it difficult to live in hot or cold places. They need something in the middle. Well, England's perfect for that because we get a bit of both, don't we? Not quite as cold as Antarctica or as hot as Australia, though. And some squirrels live in trees. Now, that's where we would find them if we were looking for them, in the trees, I think. They prefer to live alone, which I didn't know. But they sometimes gather together in a group during the cold weather, and you can guess why that would be. Their body warmth together would keep them warmer when it's really cold. Now, there are a thing called ground squirrels, and they prefer to live together in large groups. And the reason that is because if they're up in a tree, the tree squirrels, they are quite far away from other animals and they can protect themselves high up in the trees. But the ground squirrels, they need each other to protect each other because they're going to be more prone. It's more likely that they're going to be attacked by predators that might want to come and eat them or attack them. So they will live together because they can use their force and their skills to maybe fight off anybody who might come to search for them for food. What do squirrels look like? Now, we know what they look like. And if you don't know what a squirrel looks like, I'm a bit worried because we see them all the time during the autumn. But just let's get specific about their features. So they have large front teeth, a bit like rats or mice. And that's because when they've got their nuts or their conkers that they eat, they've got to be able to break through the shell to get to the bit in the middle, the bit that they want to eat. And it says that they never stop growing. Well, they need them, don't they, to eat? So that, of course, they're going to need them all the time. They have very big eyes, and this helps them to see where they're going when they're climbing trees or being attacked by other animals. So I didn't know that, although they're very alert, aren't they? Now, this is a strange one. Squirrels are born deaf and blind. Well, I didn't know that. So when they're born, they can't hear anything and they can't see anything. Now, as they develop, their hearing and their sight is really, really good, especially for them to run away when you get near. So it's quite strange that they're born deaf and blind. You can tell squirrels apart from other animals because of their pointy ears and their big bushy tails. And the first thing I think about when I think about a squirrel is their bushy tails, because they're so lovely, the way they curl round with all the different colours. The grey squirrel, you can see just behind me, look here, he's got like white and browns and a little bit of like a ginger colour through his tail. It's gorgeous. So I think of their tails first thing if I think about a squirrel. In Ireland, you can see many grey squirrels. So that's the squirrel that we would see in England, the most common, and red squirrels. So you can see some red squirrels in some parts of the UK, but like I said, they're more rare to be seen. What do squirrels eat? We call this their diet. So if you are a dinosaur fan here, the word omnivore might be quite familiar for you. We have 3 types of the way that we name the way animals eat. We've got omnivores, we've got herbivores, And we've got carnivores. Now, I didn't know this about squirrels. I actually thought a squirrel was a herbivore, which meant they only ate plant-based food. Now, as it says here, they are actually omnivores. Omnivores means they eat a bit of both. They eat meat and they eat plant-based food. So I would say that I'm an omnivore because I eat a bit of meat and I eat things from nature too. A carnivore, we know, only eats meat and doesn't eat all that plant-based stuff. So it seems that squirrels, because they come under that rodent category like rats, would eat anything if they were hungry enough. That makes them a bit of a scavenger, I think, because they're not fussy when they're hungry. But they predominantly, the most important thing they rely on to survive is their nuts in the trees and the seeds and the berries and even pine cones to survive. So that's what they eat the most. But if they're hungry and looking for food, they sometimes eat birds' eggs, which would be a meat-based, and insects as well, and that comes under the meat-based. Most squirrels gather food in the autumn time to eat in the winter. Ground squirrels, however, do not do this as they hibernate. So the ground squirrels that I said live in a group, they hibernate, they go to sleep for the whole of the winter and come back then in the springtime. The squirrels that we see, the grey squirrels, I'm pretty sure, the ones that live in the trees, they gather food. So what they do is they go and collect food like conkers and acorns, and that's what we see them doing, scurrying around to find it. They eat some of it, but then they also find places to dig and hide it, so that when it's really cold and everything's died out in nature, the berries have gone and the seeds have gone and the nuts have gone, they can go back to their little spot if they remember, and they've got some food saved for them. That's if another squirrel hasn't got there first. So that's quite clever, although I don't know how they would remember, because I think I'd forget where I'd hidden all my food. What would happen if they forgot it was there and it wasn't touched, I wonder? What would happen if a seed or a nut was buried and the squirrel didn't come back to eat it? I'm sure you know. We'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, so who are the squirrels' predators? So remember those ground squirrels that are together would have lots of predators looking for them. And even the squirrels that live in the trees have predators because it's part of the food chain. Well, foxes and raccoons eat squirrels, which I would have guessed a fox would eat squirrels if he can catch one. Hawks and owls also eat squirrels. That's just strange because some owls aren't that big and squirrels can be quite big, can't they? Squirrels can move very fast and jump around in a zigzag pattern. I don't know if you've ever seen them in the trees jumping around to get away from humans even. They just run away. This helps them to escape from animals they want to eat them. And because they're so good, they're so agile and fast, when they move up the tree, they're gone really, really quickly. Another really clever attribute to them, part of them, is that their colouring in the autumn matches the bark of the tree. So when you look up, sometimes it'd be really hard to see them amongst the trees, which is quite clever because they can hide away. Some other fun facts. This is good. There's some good fun facts here. So squirrels can find food buried beneath 30 centimetres of snow. So 30 centimetres is a ruler in our class. It's about that long. They can find food that deep. So it's a good job they've got their claws and they've got those sharp teeth to grab it when they get down, just like the one in the picture there. They can jump 10 times the length of their body. Now, I think the length of their body is probably be about 30 centimetres, roughly. They're about that big, aren't they? 10 times that, so 10 times 30, 300 centimetres, 3 meters high. It's really high. They can jump that high. And also their bodies are adapted for falling, because obviously jumping through trees, I think you'd need to be quite strong, wouldn't you? Body'd have to be strong. So if they fall, they can fall from 30 meters high, which is extremely high, without hurting themselves. So they can fall from high trees and land without getting into too much trouble. They can eat their own body weight every week, and they put on extra weight in the wintertime to keep warm. Now, most animals do this. They eat more in the winter. Even we do as humans, and we store fat during the winter to keep our bodies warmer. And it's just something that happens in nature. Sometimes squirrels bury their nuts and forget to dig them up. This is what we were just talking about, and they can't find them. This means that they accidentally plant trees all the time because, of course, from a seed or a nut, it will grow into a new plant, a new tree. So that's how we get new trees and plants all in different places. The squirrels help that to happen. So we've learned loads about squirrels there, even in just a very short PowerPoint. And there's things there that I didn't know about squirrels, and I'm sure you didn't either. So what do you like about squirrels? What is it that you like about them? Maybe you don't like them, and that's fine. I like them. But what is it that you like about them? Pause the video for a minute and have a think of a reason why you like squirrels. What is it your favourite part about them? And tell someone at home or write it down on a scrap piece of paper to remind yourself when you come back to your fact file. Pause me and do that quickly. Well done. Well, I had a little think about that while you were doing it, and I think the thing I like most about squirrels is that when I'm in the park with my children and I see a squirrel, they don't get that excited by them. But I say, oh, look, there's a squirrel, there's a squirrel. And I think it's because autumn is my favourite time of year. And that's when we see the squirrels the most, in the autumn time. And I think it just gives me a feeling of autumn. So when I see them, I get excited because I know it's in my favourite season. And that's what I like about squirrels. They remind me of autumn. So what did you like about squirrels? I hope you managed to tell somebody at home or jot it down. You might want to come back to that when you do your fact file. Right, I'm going to stop the share on that for now because that's all the information that I am going to go over with you. However, there is some more information that you may want to look into to find out some more, do some research. You did your research on Mary Anning and you put together some research notes, and that's what we're going to ask you to do today before you begin your actual fact file. So in the shared OneDrive folder, if I can just get it up here, I have also saved for you some websites and videos for you to watch about squirrels. So you can see there, if you click on the link there, it will take you in there. Now you may want to use mine or find your own, that's fine as well, but there's some there to get you started. And just like we did with the Mary Anning work last week, I've created a little research file for you. So on here you can jot down some key information, bullet points or little notes about different things to do with the squirrels. So you can jot down your ideas on here. So I've put it into some headings for you to help you out. So appearance, that's what they look like. Habitat, that's where they live. Diet, that's what they eat. And their behavior, so that's how they act. So it might be about how they move. It might be about what they do during the winter months. It might be about how they behave with other squirrels that you might find out. And then down here I've got another box here called other facts. That can be some different information that you find, some cool facts about them. It could be what you like about them. That would be a nice one to add in there. Anyway, so you do your note form on there. So you've got some links there to follow, and you've got your research sheet there. Now, don't spend too long on your research. You don't need to spend ages. You just need some basic information on each of those headings before you begin. Then there are two options. So let me just talk about the two options very quickly before I show you. The first option is to do this on the computer, typing it up. And the second option is to write it out. Now, you have done so much writing this half term and impressed us so much that we would rather this time round that you do it on the computer. It is Friday and you have done lots of writing, and we haven't done actually very much computing work in our home learning experience. I know you've been on a computer a lot, but we haven't taught you anything about computing. So you can choose, you can do it in handwriting if you want to, but you can also do it on the computer. And I'm going to show you both ways now. So if you're going to handwrite it, maybe you haven't got access to a computer all day and you haven't got time, there is a fact file template there to print off and do your own. So you've got a space for the title, a space for a drawing, and space for writing. So you could do your headings here, appearance, and then maybe halfway down, behavior, diet, habitat, and then what I like about squirrels maybe at the bottom there. So if you're handwriting, there's your template for you to use. Remember to use those headings and writing each thing under each heading. However, we are looking to see if we can see some of your computing skills. So let me just stop the share there. And I'm going to share the screen on another file, which is a Word document. This is all saved in the OneDrive. So here is the Word document. Now I've put this together really, really quickly with some text boxes. So you've got a space for your title, a bit like the other frame I've just shown you, and you've got some boxes for pictures or information. So if we were in computing now in year 3 in the spring term, we were looking at some of the skills in Word that we can do, like changing the font, changing the size, changing the colour of the font, using some word art, adding pictures. These are some of the skills that we would have been practicing and learning. Now, I'm pretty sure you're quite good at this anyway, because you're better on a computer than I am, that's for sure. But this will showcase some of your skills. So in the title here, I'm going to do squirrels. My computer is so slow tonight. Squirrels. And I'm going to highlight that there, and I'm going to change the font. So you can change the font here. You can see how slow it's going because it's doing its own thing. Let's do, oh, let's see. So many fonts to choose from, so you might want to have a whiz through. Oh, I quite like that bold one there, squirrels. And then I'm going to make it bigger here. It's my title. Oh, that's nice and big. And I want to put it in the middle. So I'm going to use this button here, look, to put it in the center because it's a title. And I'm now going to change the colour. I'm going to do it brown or grey, maybe grey for the grey squirrel. There we go. Oh, that looks like black. Let's do a lighter grey. Well, you can experiment with all your colours anyway. Oh, there we go. A lighter grey. Oh, there we go. Squirrels. You can do it in whatever way you want. Then in here, you're going to add your information. So use the headings from your research sheet. So I'll start with appearance, and I'm going to underline it. So I'm going to highlight it. And I'm going to click this button here, bold, underline. And then underneath, I'm going to type my information that I've researched, that I found out. So I found out squirrels have bushy tails and large eyes. Okay, so I've just started typing there. Now you can see it's come up bold and underlined, and I don't want it to be bold and underlined. So I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to take the bold and the underlined off because that's only for my title really. And then you could write some more information in there about squirrels. And then over here, you might want to add a picture. I think one picture is probably enough on your fat file. So I'm going to go to here, insert, online pictures. So it's just checking online for all different pictures. It is being very slow. Give it a minute and see if it works. Of course, it doesn't seem to be working. Oh, never mind. If you go into insert anyway in there, my computer's not doing what it should be doing. It'll give you an opportunity to search for a picture and then insert it into the box that you want it to go into. So you'll have to have a little play around with that because I can't show you on here. It probably won't let me close now either. There we go. And then you could do down here another heading to type about, and another heading in here, and another heading in here to type about. Loads of information. Now, if you want to use all 5 of those headings that were on your research sheet, don't worry that if you haven't got enough boxes, because if I wanted to do here, I'm going to think about behaviour, and I'm going to make it bold because it's my heading, and underline it to home. Sorry about the speed of my computer. Bold and underline it there, and I could type about behaviour here, do random typing, and once I've finished I could go down using my return bar, my new line bar, and I might want to do fun facts. I don't know why it's changed into that colour. Fun facts, or what I like about squirrels as another heading if you wanted. So highlight it I need to make it a bit bigger because I can't see it. And then bold, underline, and then I can type underneath that one. So you can split your box into 2 headings. It doesn't just have to be one box for each heading like that. So this is all about you being creative. I'm just going to stop the share there so I can talk to you again. Now, as I said, it is Friday. It's the last Friday of half term. And so for me, we are more than happy for you to do it all on the computer. In fact, we'll be looking at some of your skills on the computer when you hand these in. So email across your work to us. So you can either do a written version or you can do a computer version. It's entirely up to you. We don't need to see your research sheets. They're for you to keep. They are just for your own notes, but we would like to see your final piece. And remember, this is a little bit of a competition. So once we've had them all in and we've checked them over and we've decided which one has got really good information and really good computing skills or good writing skills, some nice pictures involved used in different fonts or different colours. And if you're handwriting it, you might do some bubble writing. We're looking for creativity, but we're also looking to make sure you've got some really good information on squirrels in there. So we'll be looking at those 2 elements. And we will choose a winner and announce them on the first Monday back after half term. So I think you know what you've got to do now. Go and get your research done. Don't spend too long on it. And then start creating your fun squirrel fact file. These would be great to go up in your classroom so that if anybody ever comes to squirrels, they'll be able to find out lots of information about them. So good luck from me and my little friend here. Thank you for listening and happy half term, squirrels. It's been a long 6 weeks and we are very, very proud of you. I know Mrs. Gray is so impressed with the work she's seen and how hard that you've worked and how great you've been on your Zoom calls. So well done. We are really proud of you. And we will see you after a lovely half term break in a week's time. Enjoy and good luck. Can't wait to see all your fact files. Bye then.